Do this on a bad stuttering day. All right. I legit, a few hours ago, I was just on a live call with someone that was like being broadcasted to our followers. And before this call, even, I could tell how my speech was going to be. I could just tell. Like, I could visualize that tension in there already. So, what I did is what I always recommend you do is to put yourself in the best spot possible in before you go into this interaction. You do exercises and you do warm-ups and you do breathing and you get yourself warmed up and you get yourself feeling good and energized towards this call. But as I was talking, I probably stuttered the most I ever have in the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 months. I was stuttering quite a bit, and it came to me about 10-15 minutes inside of this conversation, inside of this live. I'm going to share that with you right now. That really changed the way I thought about my stuttering in that moment. What I realized is I was being extremely fucking selfish. Extremely selfish. And how I was being selfish is because I was instantly aware of where my thoughts were. I was strictly thinking about myself. I was strictly thinking about my speech. I was strictly thinking about ways I could talk in ways I can relate to him. I was strictly in my head and thinking of how I can maneuver this conversation in order to talk about me. To be completely honest, the first 10-15 minutes were like that. And how I can manipulate the conversation in ways so we can talk about things that I want to talk about. And when I realized I was in my head, that also made me realize I'm paying no attention really to what the other person is saying. How selfish is that when you're in your own head and you're stuttering a lot and you're thinking of ways to manipulate shit so you can talk about yourself, or not even that. When you're stuttering a lot, who are you thinking about? You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking about ways that you, in ways to improve your fluency, in ways to just be more confident. Like, you're only thinking about yourself in that situation. And how selfish is that? I heard someone say one time that depressed people are the most selfish people there are. And why is that? And why does that hit so hard? And why does that trigger people maybe? Because depressed people are never thinking about other people. They're always thinking, woe is me. Why is life so hard for me? Why can't I do this? Why can't I just get out of bed? Why am I feeling this way right now? Like, why? It's always about you. You're never thinking about other people in any interaction you're in. So what I did when I was in this live was I went from thinking about my own shit to changing my perspective just mentally, and I got curious about the other person. I got curious about what stories he had. I got curious about what he went through, about what he's feeling right now, about just the other person. And when you're thinking about the other person and you're listening, just 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 only to listen, not to manipulate shit and to think about how you can respond. You're listening just to listen and to be available for the other person. That is not selfish. And that takes you out of your head. When you're in your head, you're being selfish. When you care about the other person, like truly care about what the other person's saying, and you're listening just to listen, not to respond, you're, for one, you start to feel a lot better. For 2, you get a lot more present. And for 3, as a byproduct, your fluency does go up. And I didn't even want to add that third point, because now a lot of people are going to go out and like, oh my God, tell me about you, to try to improve their fluency. And it will not work that way. I did not do that. I did not think about the other person I was talking to and became curious in the other person I was talking to gain more fluency. I was doing it because I was selfish and I was only thinking about myself. Change that. Change where your focus is from always internal in you, in your head, to actually caring about what the other person has to say. Get curious. This is a new person that you may have never met before, or maybe a story you've never heard before. How awesome is that? Get curious about that. You'll take yourself out of your head, you'll feel a lot better, and you'll actually enjoy this interaction. I love you. Peace.